I remember when I was a kid in school, I would go to the library and take out books, and one of the books that I took out was about ancient mythology. So it had a lot of the Greek stuff, and it also had Roman and Norse, and I learned all those pantheons because of that. It was quite fascinating. The Greek mythology especially was really interesting to me. You had Arachne challenging Athena and getting turned into a spider. You had Pan, the massive perv that was a goat that no one could get away from fast enough. You had Pandora opening the box, the Gorgon with Perseus. You had the Cyclops with, what was his name in this? Odysseus, yeah, of course. And the Minotaur with a maze down at Knossos. You had Persephone getting stolen by Hades, kidnapped. You had Orpheus going down to the underworld. Yeah, there's so much, and I'll remember it forever. Really good stories. But the one that I liked the most was this, the Trojan War, where the gods were in feuds with each other. They had rivalries, they got jealous, and they were competing for human attention. And that would trickle down to the mortals, and they would engage in these massive fights that were ultimately engineered by the gods. So I was always really interested in this conflict, this fictional time period, mostly fictional, there might be some truth to it, but yeah, I don't know if there was actually a massive conflict that happened here in Turkey over a woman's face that managed to launch 1,000 ships and cause all this death. And of course, I was also interested in the Roman stuff, and then I went from books to playing PC games and strategy games, and then Total War with Shogun 1, and then Rome Total War comes along and intersects with reading about Roman culture. But until now, there hasn't ever been a Total War game set around the Trojan War. You know, that film that we saw in 2004 with Brad Pitt? That's never been adapted to a Total War game until 2020. So here we are, we can play as Achilles, and this is going to be a playthrough that I did that goes on for about an hour, and I'm going to do my best to go over the mechanics, because the mechanics are what I've ended up caring about. That is my focus as a YouTuber, as someone that covers Total War. I am about the gameplay, especially on the battle map, and the combat mechanics. So that's going to be the focus of this video, and that is my background coming into it. So hopefully you can get something out of this, and in my capacity as a YouTuber that's gotten early access by about a week, I will be allowed to give some coverage of this. I'm not allowed to release a review or give it a rating out of 10 or say thumbs up, thumbs down, but what I'm allowed to do is cover it and show the mechanics, which is all I would want to be doing anyway. That's all I'm interested in doing, really. Learning the mechanics and conveying them to my viewers. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. I played through as Achilles a few times, and I tried to get a good grip of the gameplay by repetition. I've got a decent playthrough that lasted about an hour, and I'm going to be doing a post-commentary covering of that playthrough, focusing on the mechanics. So here we go. So it's actually 40 minutes, I just checked. So 40 minutes with 3 battles, and it's a very straightforward, intuitive first 40 minutes. This is along the lines of what a lot of people are going to be doing when they play as Achilles on this game. So playing as Achilles, you are offensive with a lot of specialist infantry, unique specialist infantry. So you've got Myrmidons, of course, who could forget them, and they've got really good melee stats. You've also got runners, which are mobile and good at flanking. Then you've got Aeginean javelinmen. So you have a lot of well-defined infantry units. And there's Priam, Paris, Hector across the Aegean. And here's the intro. I'm being quite fast.
Are we mere playthings of the gods? Or do we plead divine influence to justify our foolish choices?
He's taken her! He's taken my wife! You've risked the safety of Troy.
Troy is my home now.
You have my oath, brother. She will be returned to you. Brother, I can fight! Go. Seek shelter. There'll be plenty of fighting ahead.
Helen's flight was a grave wound to Achaean pride. King Menelaus will have his revenge.
I always thought it was Menelaus.
And his brother will have his war with Troy, just as the gods intended.
Yeah, so this is a very fast 40 minutes. I'm being really direct and aggressive. Mostly, especially during battles.
Oh, swift-footed Achilles. There is only one response to Queen Helen's abduction, and that is war.
Brother, your foolish passion has doomed us.
King Agamemnon of high-walled Mycenae must avenge this insult to his brother. You are the ultimate warrior, king of Thea, and commander of the Myrmidons.
So these are the
Glory
two starting.
in battle is my god-given fate.
The two starting cities that you have.
Your ally, King Lycomedes, rules the Isle of Skyros. As a boy, you were sheltered in Lycomedes' court on your father's command. Now you must protect the old king in turn.
I've not seen any of that yet.
Heed both threats from enemies like the Elopians and opportunities that come your way through friends such as prosperous King Oeleus and his son Ajax the Lesser. The independent Thessalians could be a bulwark for your western flank.
Yeah, I've always pushed southeast.
Keep your courage, lion-hearted Achilles, for you know well that fortune favors the bold.
Alright, and here's the start. So,
Achilles the champion.
I'm going through the interface right now, so you can... I think this is a mechanic that's unique to Achilles, or maybe Hector has it as well, but you can gain buffs by taking challenges from other heroes. I think you get something, and I think there's 3 outcomes. They can refuse, they can admit that you would wreck them, or you can go away and duel them to see who would actually win. I think the best outcome is this. The guy just admits that he would get wrecked, and you get esteem or something. And then there's another one here that you can challenge. He's up here. So these people that you challenge on that interface, they're actually on the map, and you can fight them on the field as well. So you can duel them through that interface or fight them on the field. And then there's this, the prayer system, which gives buffs as well. So you can offer prayers to gods for specific buffs to synergize. And the research doesn't look that great really. I'm usually looking for military stuff, because I want to be stacking combat buffs. Yeah, 10% melee attack to all heavy infantry, that doesn't sound that good. Casualty replenishment rate 4%. Yeah, that's good if you've got a lot of units. So, pretty typical research trees here. Nothing that really stands out, especially as Achilles. Maybe if you're specialising as archers, you would be able to find something and just spam archers. Added rank for recruits, added gold per turn. All the economic stuff is pretty boring to me at this point, as this seasoned of a Total War player. I'm mostly trying to achieve things on the battlefield and looking for stuff that helps with that. More opportunities. More emergent gameplay opportunities. But yeah, nothing's really stood out to me when I've just done this glancing over. Reduced upkeep for all units, 10%. Yeah. And here is the first contender. So I immediately just go through the city and go southeast and take on this guy. He's on your doorstep and he's just asking for it. And the balance of power says that you're meant to crush these guys, but it might be the difficulty of Legendary with the hidden combat modifiers, but this is a tough fight. If you're outnumbered 3-2, you've got your work cut out for you. And the loading times are really good. That wasn't a skip, that was actually how long it took. So I've got Javelin Men, Champions of Thea, Young Spears, Light Swordsmen, and these are all distinct units with specific usages. So the Heavy Infantry are my prize unit at this point, Champions of Thea, and I've got a plan for this fight. It's interesting because the battle map changes. Like, you know how in Shogun 2 or Three Kingdoms the battlefield is always the same because the map's been pre-generated? Well, I think there's at least two different possible battle maps that you fight this first fight on. If you do exactly what I'd do and go southeast and take on this fight immediately, if you replicate this, you can have two different battlefields. I don't know what to think about that. I don't like the lack of consistency. But I've got good strats for both of them. So the fight here, I think I'll win this one by putting the Heavy Infantry, the Champions of Thea, up against that impassable terrain and causing a choke, which I play off of using mother units. So this game is very maneuver warfare styled. Movement is rewarded, action is rewarded, micromanagement is incentivized. So you constantly want to be flanking, charging, pulling out. Those charge bonuses are easy to come by. You just need to be charging over and over again with the right units. So you need units that can charge, definitely, especially on the higher difficulties where sustained melee is not really as viable as it should be. And Achilles is a beast. He can stop units in their tracks. So that unit there was going to charge my champions, but Achilles blocked the charge, and now I can start playing off this situation. I've got my Champions of Thea causing a choke that 4 units are pouring into. That is a perfect use for them, I've found. That's the best way to utilise them, because that frees up more of my units to pull off manoeuvres, and manoeuvres are really important. And I'm firing with my javelins into the back of those young spears, which are defensively poor but high charge. So I want to keep those young spears engaged in melee and not allow them repeated charges. So once they get stuck in a melee, you've got to make sure that they don't get out of that melee, they don't unstick. You've got to end them. So that's what I'm doing there. I'm not pulling out, I'm keeping them in the melee, and I'm trying to get javelin shot into them. And then I've got my light swordsmen, I think, coming into the back here, because they've double blobbed, they've packed in.
Are losing heart.
And I've got my unit of young spears with their high charge wavering. It seems like units rout easily in this game on Legendary, so yeah, you need to be careful, cautious with your movements, that you don't rout. And I think they just routed, yeah. But that's okay, because I've got my champions in the melee in a good fight, a good sustained fight, and they're holding a lot of units. They've got a lot of units pinned, and I've got my javelins firing into a flank while I am pushing through with my light swordsman. Yeah, I was wishing that those young spears didn't rout, but I'm gonna get my own routes in a second. I've got young spears shaking. There's swordsmen at the back there, spearmen there wavering. So they've taken a lot of casualties,
Ares, your warriors are rallying.
and I just got a rally. And I'm still firing into the young spears with my javelin men, and that's a good counter, and they run. And they're broken, they're not shattered, so they will come back. So I've got to make sure that I chase them. And I've got a unit called Runners, Aegean, what is it? Aegean, I think it is, Runners. So they're fast, they are more efficient at mopping up. And of course, Peltasts, Javelinmen can go fast as well. They have high speed. So these are the units that you want to use to pursue. And young spears with their high charge bonus, you want to keep them in the fight. So that's what I'm going for. So there's the runners taking off. Achilles is still stuck in the melee. He's getting decent kills and he's losing health, but that's alright. We need to win the melee against all of these units. These units are the threat. The AI usually likes to sit back with its heroes, so you can commit your hero and win a solid fight.
One of your units has no more ammunition.
And I'm getting charge cycles into their spearmen there, and my champions are still holding the line there. They've got 250 kills to 20 losses, and that's because we gave them the right kind of fight, where they stay in a sustained melee from the front and are not subjected to charge bonuses or missile fire, and they've done well. And they've also got support from Achilles, of course, which I think distracts their units and gives my guys easy kills. And they've got a unit slingers, high-end slingers, and I'm giving chase to them with the runners. And the runners can go faster than heroes, so you can kite. And they've just sent their guy in, their hero. And I've got 2 units they're chasing, which is inefficient. All I need is 1, so I'm committing the light swordsman, and then I'm bringing the young spears over, because we need their charge bonus. They can be doing a lot of damage. And swordsman there. So I'm going to try and break them with javelins, I think, and then chase them and shatter them as well. And here come the swordsman, is that? Where are my young spears? Yeah, it's so good when you see units breaking like this, because once a unit breaks, that frees up one of your units, and you can either give chase or commit to another fight to free up even more units and cascade. And I'm getting charged on the back there. So there's light swordsmen up there, 56 men, and the slingers are wide open, so I'm trying to find a unit that can do that. And my champions are still holding the line. 300 kills with 45 losses. That is a really, really good KD. That's like the highest I've seen so far. And I'm wondering how high it would be if there were not hidden combat modifiers. It could be even higher.
Victory is close enough to taste.
And that looks to be it. The champions holding the line beside a choke, and Achilles supporting them, tied up a lot of their units, and that really narrowed the gap. And I'm trying to pull them out now while the duel goes on, because Achilles should be left to win his duels. Come on. Ischus against Achilles. So now it's just a mop up to get as much XP as possible, and there's a unit of slingers left and that's it. So I've got all of my units left after that, and more than half on every unit, so that's a really good performance. And I'm about to kill Ischus with Achilles. Ah, he's away, he's running away. And the slingers have routed or shattered as well, and that's it. So that's how you win the first battle in Troy Total War with Achilles on this map, if you end up getting this map. I think using heavy infantry beside chokes works really well, because it encourages the AI to funnel into the front of your heavy infantry. And I'm getting some panorama shots now with interface off. Looks quite good. There's a certain aesthetic that you really want to capture when you're making games in classical antiquity, that period with bronze and what do they call it? Sandals and spears? Sword and sandal? When it's hot and dry and dusty. Kinda like Gladiator. And look at that, we lost 270 to kill 1,100, so that's a KD of 4, which is the high end of what I'm pulling off so far in my time with this game. I was happy with a KD of 2 at one point, but then I started to use manoeuvring a lot better. And I got a lot of kills on my charging infantry. The swordsman and Achilles did the least. I don't think I used Achilles' abilities well, but there doesn't seem to be many opportunities to use them because you're always charging. You're always going to be charging, so for Achilles to activate his ability to buff charging a little bit for a short period in a small radius, it doesn't seem to be very important. And I don't like clicking abilities just for the sake of it. I prefer passive stuff if it's going to be like that, if it's going to have such small effects. And I'm just looking now at his traits and his equipment, and he's got a skill point, so I go left or I go right. I remember deliberating on this for a while. Frenzy or Blood of Heracles. I don't know. I don't remember being impressed by any of these. Added weapon damage. Reduced attack interval, reduced stamina. I think I went with the reduced stamina. But that's a bad thing. Health cost, I remember noticing health cost. Holy crap. So by using that ability you're damaging yourself. I don't like that. In a game like this you would probably expect a hero to self-heal. So I went right. Yeah, because I really didn't like the idea of damaging yourself. And then Peleus' spear, that's his dad. Peleus and Thetis, his parents. Thetis, who dipped him in the river Styx. And Peleus, who was immortal, which is why he's mortal by nature, but rendered immortal except for his heal, because his heal is mortal like his dad.
Armed and ready.
And I pull back to the city and I make young spears, 3 of them, don't I? That's the thing to do.
No problem.
That's really the thing to do as Achilles. Slingers don't seem to be effective enough in this game with this infantry-based maneuver warfare. I remember thinking that because they have 30 ammo, they must have a high capacity for dealing damage, but they're really impotent, like goddamn. At least early game, just on their own, as low-end slingers. They were not doing damage. Grants extra units for instant recruitment. Oh yeah, this is another thing. Achilles has moods. Proud, indignant, grieving, outraged. And they give buffs as well. So you can align all this stuff if you're meticulous enough. I haven't really messed around with that yet. And I'm going for the prayer that reduces enemy morale. I'm really battlefield oriented at this stage in my Total War career. I really am always tempted to forgo economy in favour of getting more units out quicker and stacking more buffs in my favour to achieve more and more devastating victories. So I'm not really in the mood to sit clicking around upgrading buildings in my economy, not since Rome 2. I remember when Rome 2 came out on day 1 and I was just looking at all these red and blue colours all over the place for the economy and thinking, what the fuck is this? And then Three Kingdoms has a really complex economy as well. I don't know if I can just keep committing to learning all of these economies all the time. Prayer to Hera. Yeah, I went for Ares because that causes -5% morale to all enemy units for enemy armies. That's the kind of thing that you could just have running
Beyond
perpetually. And here I go, I'm moving out with my young spears.
Cut them down.
And I'm taking the next fight. Balance of power is really against me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 units.
Ground red.
To my 9, is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah.
no mercy.
So I'm outnumbered here. And my units are depleted, but I've got some decent units too. I've got the Champions of Thea heavy infantry. That's the only heavy infantry unit that I've seen in my time playing this game so far, I think. And they are really inconsistent. Like you saw there,
We can take them.
in that fight, they did really well and got a KD that was really, really high, like 7 or 10 or something. But there are other fights where they'll go negative because I've got them running around and they are taking charges while caught off guard without their feet planted, and they're also getting javelin fire weakening them. So I think they had a really, really
With Athena's
good
blessing.
fight there where I put them
I'm on it.
in a perfect situation for them. And this is a second hero I've recruited, so I've got Achilles pushing out, I've got that guy back at the town. And they're sallying forth now. Elops. It's a weird name. And I'm fighting it, of course. So I've got 4 units of young spears. They are chargers, so psycho charge. It's weird psycho charging infantry, but it's necessary. And with a unit like young spears, they are glass cannons. They're crap defensively. They're not good in a sustained melee. They don't move particularly fast. But when they are charge cycled and swapping as well, if you have 2 units of young spears swapping, so basically just running between 2 enemy units, swapping each other's position, getting the charge into the other unit, like cavalry would do in Three Kingdoms, really well, young spears will perform well. Alright, so here we are outside the city. I noticed a rock there that we could maybe use to funnel, but then I noticed this little village here, little shantytown, that I'm going to make a run for. And I've got my groups set up, and I've got Achilles in 1, the Champions, Heavy Infantry in 2,
Enemy is receiving reinforcements.
got all my flankers and chargers in group 3, and I'm going to try and do my best to compensate my lack of pinning units. I've only got 2 units that can pin, Achilles and the Champions, and I'm going for some cinematic views here. Because if the game does not look good here, when is it gonna look good, you know? So I'm checking out, and I'm kind of feeling it. I like it.
Let's get to it.
But the camera's a bit wonky, going in and out of that makes the camera fly around a bit sometimes. So they've got a lot. Oh man, they have a lot of units. And I'm getting Achilles up there. Achilles can charge right in and start pinning units and making opportunities, forcing emergent situations that you can play off of if you know your units and how to use them. And if you press the spacebar for preview, it clears the trees away so you can see clearly what's going on. And they've got renowned slingers there, so I do not want to stand underneath them getting showered with shot. So I immediately want to send my runners at them. So I've got my runners and my javelin men chasing down the slingers. Javelin men are lobbing javelins while they close distance. And then I'm
Your
pulling
hero
the javelins
is
back
under attack.
and I'm sending the runners. And the runners carry a few javelins as well, which is interesting. So they're kind of like legionnaires with their pila. They carry a few which precede the charge. And they're focusing on Elops there. Look at all of those javelins converging on the poor guy. And Achilles is going in for the melee. So he can't fire his bow and annoy me anymore. So I might get a free kill on that guy. That's ideal. But I've been pushed back. The slingers have pulled back to the line. And now I'm getting ready for the fight, which is going to come and it seems to be working here. They're all funneling into the left side of this little village, which is exactly what I want to see. I want to see these units all overlapping and getting funneled, but look at that, they're firing, they're concentrating fire on my champions,
Your hidden units.
and that's pissing me off. But now the melee can begin, and we're in business. And I'm not countercharging with the champions. Oh man, they lost so much health, fucking hell. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4 units there, really close to the champions. And now I'm supporting them with the young spears. So I'm sending young spears in to charge and then pulling them out. And that's the best I can do here at the moment. Achilles is on the melee, he'll win that, and then I can commit him to a melee. And they've got their hero run around not very effectively, and they've blobbed really hard. The slingers are firing while I'm in the trees, so 40% of their shot is
Your
nullified.
warriors are losing heart.
And I've got a unit about to rout already. And I need to make flanks happen now. And I see a good opportunity now with the runners, I think it is. Yep. I'm sending the runners straight at the skirmishers. And then I can forget about them. They're cancelled out, and that's good enough. And I'm pulling back now with all of these infantry, because I need to be manoeuvring again. They're shaking, they're wavering, and I outnumber them. So I can start pulling them out and surrounding them. That packed, condensed fight is good for heavy infantry, but not for these highly mobile, high charge bonus, high speed units. And the runners have caught those javelin men. Or bowmen, is that archers? Yeah, archers. So I've got runners that have caught archers and they're gonna wreck them in the melee. My champions are holding the line
Your warriors
without
are
casualties. My unit that ran away has come back, the light swordsman, and I can commit them to javelin throwers there. So these are good matchups. This is all happening really well. And I've got some good angles forming here, but these two young spears are together and they're not charging, so I need to split them up. So I send them in different directions, and now I am going to converge. And I'm sending the young spears through my swords, so the swords can get a charge. And then the young spears are going to charge the javelins. And that is exactly what you want. And then the archers have routed, and I can go for the slingers. My champions have done well in the melee, and they've been supported by javelin throwers. And I see a nice flank up the hill that I can send my champions into. So I take that. I've cleared the skirmishers. No wait. Yeah, I'm sending the champions left, and I'm going to hold off on committing to that flank, that open flank. And I've got 2 units chasing there, but that's too many, so I'm pulling one off. And their hero has been left with his thumb up his ass, doing nothing. Perfect. And the javelin men are in melee with the young spears, which is alright, because that means they're not currently about to charge. As long as they're stuck and their attention is taken, and they're not on the charge, young spears are not really a threat. Which is why I constantly keep moving mine around and trying to sandwich enemy units with them. Yeah, just like that. Look at that. I'm cycling, I'm rotating. It is a conveyor belt with the young spears when you get that many units. And how the hell has Achilles not killed that guy yet? What the fuck? And my champions are occupying their hero, but they've got high armor, so that seems like a decent matchup to me. And their young spears are broken. All my young spears are starting to get freed up. Achilles has some divine magic shit going on, I don't know what that is. Vanquish, yeah, I've just ignored that. It doesn't seem to be important. It's just a waste of attention in micro, the way I see it. Your attention is much better spent when you have this many units on moving them around than trying to get an extra 20% speed for a few units within the radius of Achilles. Maybe if Achilles is going to be at the middle of a charging vanguard or something on the flank, then you can pay attention to that, but I didn't. And everything's gone really well here, so... And yeah, look at that, there's 3 heroes now together, and it's turning into a mosh pit. My javelin men, they've shattered the young spears, and now it's a mop up it seems like. And my champions of Thea, 65 are alive, down from what, 80? And that's it. victory. Champions of Thea only lost 15 to kill how many? Yeah, this was another good fight. Really nice. And that guy's nearly dead, and I want to get these guys with Achilles. I want Achilles to kill them both. But the thing is, Achilles actually is kind of slow. He can't move that fast. So I'm trying to block that guy while Achilles goes for the kill here. 220 hit points.
Has claimed the enemy hero.
And yeah, he just got skewered with 10 javelins. And I want Achilles to catch this guy, so I'm trying to block against the edge of the map to turn him back in. But it doesn't work. He just keeps going. Treatise. Aegean runners, 200 kills for 60 losses. KD of 3. And yeah, I notice the sun and I start looking around again. Look at those wheat fields down there as well. There's a lot of wheat fields. That's what reminds me of Gladiator, I think. Aegean javelinmen, young spears. The young spears there with 300 kills to fucking 16 losses. Holy fuck. 300 kills for 16 fucking losses. That is immense. And the champions of Thea got 154 kills to 15 losses, I think it was. But look at their health bar. They've lost half their health, and they've only taken 15 out of 80, was it? 15 out of 80, so that's like 20% losses from actual numerical losses are stand at 20%. Health losses are at 50%. So they were all ready to drop. If I'm thinking about that right, that is 300 kills for those young spears. I think those kills happened on the charge too. And a mission to make troops, 12. Achilles is 11 legend. So, if there are no contenders, Achilles is uncontested. He's the uncontested heavyweight champion of the ancient world. And I think you might get buffs for that. And this is the siege against the defenders. So I'm thinking, do I alt-resolve this and take loads of losses, or do I make a ram and fight this? Take a ram and fight this? Yeah. So there's 4 units defending. Oh man. Yeah, look at Achilles' health bar, fuck's sake. He's got almost no health left. That's bad. And the weather system, there's fog in this and rain. Fog reduces visibility and makes it easier to hide and lay ambushes, which I've not really done any of yet. I've not tried.
The battering ram is a monstrous war machine of wood and bronze. These contraptions require strength.
And rain reduces fatigue regeneration, so you don't recuperate your stamina as fast, which you can use to your advantage. But Achilles is meant to have unlimited stamina, so he gets tired very easily in this.
Awaiting orders.
That was how he defeated Hector, because Hector was mortal and grew tired,
For glory.
while Achilles was tireless.
In good order.
Because Hector was pretty much an even match for Achilles. Well, there's obviously variation in the myth, the legends, but that's how they like to tell it. That they fought for hours. It went on and on and on. And I think Hector tried to tire Achilles by running around the city. And Achilles chased him and didn't get tired, and then I think Hector got mocked for not fighting, being a coward. And then he stood his ground and they fought. And that's a big ram. Yeah, and these towers, man, in 3 Kingdoms, on launch day, they were machine guns. Oh, that shit sucked. And it's a bit better this time around, but if you have a lot of towers firing at a lot of units from a lot of angles, you get whittled down hard. They just look like little white piss streaks floating through the air, but they are fucking lethal. Yeah, here we go. The 2 towers at the gatehouse, and then flanking towers, 2 of them. So I've got 4 towers concentrating fire, and now they're spreading their attention. And yeah, there's a trail of bodies, and then the archers on the walls are joining in. Assaulting forts in this game is pretty brutal. See, if you're evenly matched and you try and assault a fort, there's not really any bullshit cheese that you can pull off to get advantage. It's hard to sneak in. They reface around the city quite effectively. This is not Rome 2 AI anymore. This is 7 years later. Coming up for 7 years later. They will react. They won't just sit there in a coma, not knowing what the fuck is going on. They will move to that side of the city and man the walls.
Have a foothold on their walls.
And I'm trying to get Achilles up to just inside the firing arc, and then I'm going to pull him through the gate. That was a bit reckless. I was aware that he could go down, but I wanted to try it, you know. I wanted to pull off taking this city on this turn.
Your hero is under attack.
No, he's not. He's fine. And the Ram's in position, and the heavy infantry are right behind. 71 champions of Thea. 69, 68, 67. Yeah, that shit sucks. They're heavy infantry, and they take losses from skirmishers really well. Especially javelins. Oh man, 57, fucking hell. Yeah, the attrition rate on heavy infantry from projectiles is high. 48, 47, oh man, it's painful to watch now. Yeah, if you're gonna be assaulting a fucking city, send in your garbage, keep your heavy infantry in reserve. 42 left, holy shit. And there's young spears there that have no shields and they're naked. And they led with the ram. And they're all still alive. Oh man. But we're in. And we've only got a few units to overwhelm. And I wanted Achilles to kill this guy, because that would have been perfect. If he came in with almost no health and got into a duel with this guy and was sufficiently skilled that he could overcome his complete lack of health and take the guy out. And guy's jerking around there a little bit. Treatise. Yeah. They make a circle and they watch. It's actually just like in the Iliad, where both sides would stop fighting and they would just watch to see how it went, and then they would all go home and mourn the loser.
The heart of the city is within reach. Press forward, capture it, and the city will fall to you.
Well, they can make a circle. If you get engaged in a duel, they will make a circle and watch, usually.
Let's get to it.
It's kind of happening there, you can sort of see it, they're watching. But he's just broke. He broke. Oh man. We were about to get him in a fair fight. Achilles has got 600 hit points left out of like 6,000, 10% health. And the guy's running away. He's also got really low health. That was like a 50-50 which way that would go. He's got 900 hit points left. Fucking hell. And there's that jump. Oh man. That jump lunging underarm spear. Underarm spear thrusts. Oh man. And there's the victory dance as well. So yeah, that's really... That was such a clean run. 40 minutes in. Oh man. Defeated the initial army. Defeated the garrison of the most intuitive, proximate next town. This is the way you go southeast. And yeah, not bad. And that's Total War Troy. or what I've experienced of it so far, anyway. Occupy.
I am unstoppable.
Yeah, and I'm gonna keep playing it. It comes out on the 13th on the Epic Store, not Steam. Comes out on Steam in a year, and it's gonna be like £25 or something. So it's a timed exclusive on the Epic Store on the 13th. Alright, that's it from me. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I've helped you make up your mind about this divisive, contentious, controversial topic of what the hell is Troy? Total War. And I like how the shroud on the sky has a pattern as well. That's really cool. You can see stars as well, sometimes at night. Right now you see clouds. It's like hand-drawn clouds on a shroud, but at night you see little stars. And that's unique units that I just decided to recruit there, or I'm recruiting. And that got me excited because I haven't really tried many unique units. I've had the champions, I've had the Aegean runners, special recruitment, and yeah, Achilles has a lot of specialist infantry units, so it's going to be a lot of fun to see how to use these units effectively and to try and use them all in conjunction and have emergent combined arms plays being made in conjunction with the movement, the maneuver warfare that this game seems to reward, which makes it kind of distinct from all other Total War games, I would say. Alright, thanks for watching, see you next time. I have a Patreon page for if you like the videos enough to want to support their production. Special thanks to Matteo Olivetti, Nerdington, the Rody451, Halcyon, William Balangari, and Robert Sparks.